All right, everybody, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling some seriously breaking news.
Yeah.
And this one
Big stuff.
has some pretty huge implications for global health.
Absolutely. So one of those things that just kind of came out of nowhere.
On his first day back in office, President Trump signed an executive order
Day one.
to withdraw the U.S.
Wow.
from the World Health Organization.
The WHO.
Again.
Again. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
this is round 2 for this.
It's not the first time we've seen this,
Well.
so we're going to dive into why he might have done this,
Yeah.
what it could mean for the world,
Yeah. What's the fallout here?
and whether there's any light at the end of the tunnel here.
What's interesting to me right off the bat is that he did this on day 1.
Yeah.
Like, he got back in office, and, I mean, what does that tell you about?
It's like top priority, right?
This is a priority.
Yeah.
It seems to be at the top of the list.
Now, the executive order lists a bunch of reasons for withdrawal, but they basically boil down to a few things.
Give me the summary.
Claims that the WHO mishandled COVID-19,
Yeah.
need for some serious reforms
Like some big changes.
within the organization,
I see.
concerns about political influence,
Which, that's always a big one these days, right?
especially from China,
Yeah, particularly from China.
and the argument that U.S. financial contributions are too burdensome.
Okay, so too much money going that way.
And, this all comes after years of Trump criticizing the WHO for being China-centric,
Right.
particularly during the early stages of the COVID-19 outbreak.
Right from the beginning. I mean,
Okay.
you've been following global health for a while.
Yeah.
And so, this isn't just about politics, right?
Right.
This could impact global health efforts on a massive scale.
Right. It's not
It's bigger than
just about the U.S.
Right.
So think about this. The U.S. was the WHO's biggest financial contributor,
Biggest one.
providing almost 20% of their budget.
I mean,
That's huge.
that's a big chunk of change.
Yeah. And now there's a massive funding gap.
Yeah. So where does that leave them?
Right. And it's not even just about if other countries can fill that gap.
Right.
It's about if they even want to.
Right, exactly. And given the way things are going,
Right.
who knows?
Especially with the current global economic climate.
Not looking good, is it?
Not great. And that funding gap could have some serious consequences.
Well, yeah.
It's not just about
You're talking
responding to the next pandemic.
Yeah.
It affects everything from disease surveillance to vaccine distribution, research
Yeah.
collaborations,
Capacity building.
especially in developing countries.
Right. The people who need it the most.
We're talking programs to fight malaria,
Malaria. Yeah.
tuberculosis,
Huge problem.
HIV/AIDS,
I mean,
diseases that affect millions of people
these are global issues.
worldwide.
Right. And this is what the WHO is supposed to be there for.
Exactly.
We're talking about decades of progress potentially being stalled
Yeah.
or even reversed.
And some experts are saying this is going to be catastrophic.
I mean,
Ashish Jha,
the COVID guy.
the guy who led Biden's COVID response team.
Right.
He's warning that leaving the WHO damages global health,
Yeah.
but it also undermines U.S. leadership in science
Right.
and weakens our standing in the world.
So
Like a double whammy.
it's like shooting yourself in the foot and
Yeah.
then the foot of the rest of the world.
And it's not just him. Lawrence Gostin, a major figure in global health law, called this decision cataclysmic.
Cataclysmic. Wow.
He said, and this quote really stuck with me, "Withdrawal is a grievous wound to world health, but a still deeper wound to the U.S."
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It really is.
It makes you think about all the unintended consequences.
The things we're not even thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that people are worried about is that this move,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be about, pushing back against China.
It might actually have the opposite effect.
It's a
By pulling out,
Yeah.
the U.S. is creating this void,
Yeah.
and China can just step right in.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I mean, they could increase their funding,
Right.
push their own agenda within the organization,
Yeah.
and then ultimately gain more control over global health policy.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
It really is.
Trying to push back against China.
Yeah,
We might be handing them more power.
that's what a lot of folks are worried about.
Now, there are some people,
Okay.
a small minority,
All right.
who say that this could actually be a good thing.
A good thing, how so?
They say this forced withdrawal could be the push that WHO needs to reform.
So kind of like a wake-up call,
Yeah.
a shock to the system.
Maybe it'll lead to a more efficient, more transparent,
More effective.
more effective organization in the long run.
Okay, so a silver lining.
But is that realistic?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? The
Yeah.
executive order doesn't really say what reforms the U.S. wants.
It's pretty vague. It's very vague.
And honestly, the administration hasn't exactly been,
Conciliatory.
yeah, I wouldn't say they've been open to dialogue or compromise,
I don't think a return to the WHO is happening anytime soon.
right?
It would take a complete 180.
So where does this leave us? It feels like we're standing on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And this decision could reshape the landscape of global health.
Oh, absolutely.
It's uncharted territory.
Yeah, we really don't know what's going to happen.
The long-term consequences are still unfolding.
But one thing's for sure, this situation needs all of our attention.
Yeah, this is something we all need to be paying attention to.
Absolutely.
What this boils down to is the relationship between politics, science, and global cooperation in the 21st century.
Wow, that's Dave.
And that's something worth thinking about. We'll continue to follow this story closely and bring you the latest developments. Stay tuned.